Hello, friends. Today I wanted to create a video showing how I add variations over an existing arrangement. Um, so today the song will be Blue by Eiffel 65. And I think I'm going to try to show four different specific variations on this song, but there are pretty much like infinite variations you could do just based on the simple basic arrangement and the chords that are in the song. So I just want to kind of show you how I do that. And I'll start by playing just the simple version of the song, the simple basic arrangement of Blue by Eiffel 65. Hopefully, I can do it because I'm not even used to playing the basic version anymore because I messed around with it so much. All right, here we go. So I messed that up pretty badly because I'm not used to playing the simple version of it. I always will like mess around with it. So I'll show you all the different variations I like to do. So, like the first one, I was trying to do kind of like a Renaissance sort of variation to it, but I'm not sure if it actually does constitute that. But I'll still kind of show you. Well, basically, all I do to try to give it a sort of Renaissance vibe is add trills. So, if you look at the basic arrangement, it's just the melody of the song and the chords. So, you just pick a note that is within the chord that you can add a trill to. So, for the first part, here's like a G minor. And all I did was this is the G minor, the three, sorry, 2 3 1 0 2 3 1 for a G minor. And to add a trill to that, all I do is just add a trill where the one would go. So I'm not really teaching these techniques. I'm just telling you sort of how I approach adding a variation. And there are so many videos that will teach you how to do like a trill on the ukulele or just in general. But this is just how I thought to create a sort of Renaissance vibe because um, that's, I guess, to me, that's like how it sounds, is like it has a lot of like flourishes and trills in a like a Renaissance sort of style. And then if I wanted to do that in like the with the F chord, and I'll always do like this F add 9 now because I've learned that from other uke players that can create a nice sound. And all that is you have the one on the E string and then just all the other strings open. A regular F chord, you would have the two on the G string. But I don't like to do that anymore because when I add variations and I'm just like noodling on the ukulele, I don't like to think about like the avoiding the double notes because it's just a lot more freeing to just be able to play without thinking for me, if that makes sense. Because if you had this two down, then it's the same as the open A string. See, if you're just playing through the strings, then those two notes are doubled now. Okay, so that's sort of how I did the Renaissance variation and just adding trills throughout. And then, like, the other one is more complicated. It would probably be too hard for me to explain, but it's on the C minor. I guess it's not that complicated. You just, if this is the C minor chord with the a bar across the third fret, and then fretting with the pinky on the sixth fret, um, then I would slide up from the fifth fret to the sixth and back down really quickly as I'm strumming through. And then I would do a pull off to get the next melody note. So basically, with any of the variations, I just have the same basic arrangement that I'm working from and try to maintain the melody notes no matter which technique I'm playing through, if that makes sense. So you just want to, no matter what technique you're overlaying over the arrangement, to try to make sure you hit the melody notes and keep the same chords so it has the same sound, no matter what the technique is. Because another one I like to do is claw hammer. I like to try using that over any ukulele arrangement that I learn. I just like to try it with the claw hammer technique to see what happens. So obviously I did that with this one. And after I work on these variations for a long, long time before they arrive at this point. So this I've done like the claw hammer version quite a bit. So I'll just play through it first so you can hear what it sounds like. I messed it up a little bit. I get nervous with that part of it, with the playing. But so for that, it's just the same exact concept with the clawhammer pattern, which is like the bum ditty pattern. It's when you hit a note with the index, do a brush stroke, and then hit with the thumb on the G string. And it's actually quite pretty easy to add a claw hammer variation to an arrangement if you know the claw hammer technique, because then all you do is try to hit the melody notes that you already know and just overlay that pattern over the chords while hitting the melody notes. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but that's kind of all I did, because I hit this with the bum and then, but sometimes you have to sort of vary it to fit with the song. So if there's two melody notes in a row, like, or three, then you just have to incorporate that into the technique you're overlaying. So I do two bums over that before. So it's so yeah, I'm making this seem like it's so easy, but I've just done that so much that for me, like, I don't even have to think about it anymore. Um, but yeah, like, once there are many different like courses and videos you can find to learn the claw hammer technique. But yeah, so that's sort of how I do that, and I always try, and like the more that you try, to different techniques over arrangements you already know, the more natural it becomes to just experiment and not worry like if it's perfect or if you're going to make a mistake. You just kind of, are free to experiment, not really worried about what anyone thinks if it's just you. I mean, that's why it's like more stressful trying to like film it and like explain it, because I just have not done that as much as just by myself playing and like experimenting. So I'll show you. Well, one way I like to add variations is just changing the finger picking pattern over the arrangement. So one variation that I thought was pretty cool is if you alternate between the thumb and the index, going back and forth, like every other note is the G string, and then the index finger is hitting different notes on the C, E, and A string. So over the blue arrangement, I'm trying again to like hit those melody notes while just keeping that pattern going over the arrangement that already exists. So it's like you're playing the exact same notes, but you're just using a different technique to play them. So these are the melody notes. Is 3 on the E string, open A string, and then 1 on the A string. And just with that pattern I just described, alternating with the G string, between each melody note, you just add a pluck on the G string. So then I'll play through that to show you what that sounds like over the basic arrangement. And you can just try that with like any technique or finger picking pattern that you know or that you like. And the more simple the arrangement is, the easier it is to modify and create variations. And like I was saying earlier, like if you have a chord where there's like no double notes, you can't really pick a wrong note. Like it almost always sounds good. So there are no okay, there's a double note in this one, but if you don't like that, like all you have to do sometimes is just add in like so these two notes are doubled. The 3 on the E string and the open G string are the same note in a regular G minor chord. But if you don't like that, all you have to do is add the 2 on the G string. And if you don't know like what the notes are, which I don't know what any almost any of the notes are because I learn my arrangements and create them by ear. So, I mean, all you have to do is just try different notes and or like different fretting different notes and see which one sounds good. And that's how I figured out that all you have to do is add the 2 on the G string. And there's no double notes and you can just play through. And no matter which string you pluck, it sounds good. And that's what I like to do, when I'm either, messing around or creating arrangements sometimes, just if I don't want to think about the double notes at all and avoiding them, because sometimes it can sound weird if you have double notes like, see, I mean, that can sound nice too. It just depends on how you want it to sound. That actually is part of another song that I know, but that specific doubling of notes. But I'm not going to get into that because it's just a tangent. Well, I mean, another one that I like to always try is like a 3-finger roll, which is just well, I'll link a video that describes what the 3-finger roll is in the description. But I like to try that over arrangements that I know too. So but sometimes like you have to like vary the technique. So if the pattern is thumb, middle, index, repeating, sometimes you have to vary that to like get the melody notes correct. So I would start out with a lead in like the same exact starting melody note. So I'd start with that and then start the three finger roll. And I'm not perfect with that technique, but I still really like how it sounds. Okay, so those are the I think 3 or 4 techniques. I don't know what I ended up doing. And just different ways I like to create variations in my arrangements, or not just my arrangements if I learn, but if I read the tabs and learn any arrangement, I like to try different variations of techniques like this. So hopefully, even if you don't fully understand exactly how I'm doing it, hopefully it will still give you ideas of things that you can try, and like just know that, there's not really a wrong answer. Like if you're just messing around and exploring different approaches to a song, like, don't be afraid to just try it and see if it sounds good and if you like it. And it's pretty much all I do. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this. Hopefully it wasn't too messy. I'll try and cut out like the any awkward pauses as much as possible. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this, and you are wanting to try some of these ideas. Thank you. Thank you again so much for watching. And I just wanted to let you know that I included the tabs for the basic version of the song below. And so you can use that to try and create your own variations, or try to attempt some of the variations that I did in this video and see how it goes. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day.